What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Grand Finals of the Litany League Season number 2, I do believe, as Season number 3 is coming up relatively soon, sponsored by Dota Talk. And again, hopefully I will get access to the replays once again. I've talked to one of the admins, although he won't be the admin for Season 3. He said he will try to get replays for me for the upcoming season. But anyway, this is going to be a best-of-1 match between NeoEs.Orange and Mith.Trust. Best-of-1 in the Grand Finals. Considering that Mith.Trust already knocked down NeoEs.Orange to the losers bracket, unfortunately I could not get the replay of that game. But yeah, this is going to be the Grand Finals, and again, the winner of this takes something like 50 treasure keys home, or some sort of cash equivalent of that. I think it's around $150, which is, decent for a relatively short league for a couple days. But anyway, Mith.Trust is a team from Thailand. They have been around for a long time, and it looks like they've been staying with the same lineup, TNK, Aba, Lakels. So, yeah, I mean, what more can you say? Honestly, I've not heard them participate in too many major competitions, although I think they did participate in one of the more recent Gozu Cup Asias. So maybe they took a bit of a break on the return. I'm not too sure, but meanwhile, NeoEs.Orange, once again, the powerhouses of the Southeast Asian scene, winning wherever they go. And they're going to be in the Grand Finals. Despite being sent to the losers bracket by Mith.Trust, they only had to win one game in order to win the tournament. So Mith.Trust, we'll see if there's any additional pressure or any additional mistakes that they make because of the pressure, because you can be rest assured that Orange does want to take their revenge. But thus far, standard bans and picks coming way. The real question is who will ban or pick up the Keeper of the Light first, because again, I imagine both of these teams favor that hero quite heavily. I'm not too sure what Mith.Trust has been playing recently. Lakels was most known for his carry Morphling, but since Morphling has received such a big nerf, not too sure if we'll see another Morphling again in this series, or rather this game. But NeoEs.Orange is going to ban out the Rubik, so this is probably to protect something like a Darkseer or a Keeper pickup, so they're going to give Mith.Trust one of the options. Okay, either you ban out a strong hero and leave us with our preferred hero so you can get two strong heroes of your own, which it looks like Mith.Trust is going to decide to do. So NeoEs.Orange probably going to pick up Keeper or Magnus right here and leave Mith.Trust with something like a Darkseer and something else. I don't think Darkseer will be the first choice by Orange. No, it is going to be the Magnus. So Mith.Trust probably going to jump on the Darkseer and the Keeper of the Light bandwagon right here. Those would seem to be to make the most sense in this scene, as well as also in the Western scene. Keep in mind, because this is Southeast Asian Dota, there is no Wisp pick or ban, and there won't be anything like a Gyrocopter being picked or banned either. But it wouldn't be too surprising to see if Mith.Trust picked up something like a Shadow Demon as well, because Orange has made great use of that Shadow Demon throughout the tournament, and also he's a very strong support, so maybe if they don't have a traditional Keeper of the Light carry in mind, they could pick up the Shadow Demon for a bit of extra damage. Of course, the Keeper of the Light and Shadow Demon also synergize quite well, so if they don't want to pick up the Darkseer, they could pick up their primary supports right here. But as it is, I'm not too sure who Mith.Trust will target their carry pick towards. They're going to pick up Keeper of the Light as well as Phantom Lancer, so they're going to leave both Shadow Demon and Darkseer out in the pool. I don't know if this is the best combination. If they give Magnus mid, Darkseer offlane, even if you have a Keeper of the Light Phantom Lancer, the team fight on the side of the Orange squad would just be overwhelming. And I think Orange, it would be best for them to pick up the Darkseer right now, just make it so much more easy for Magnus to land a huge reverse polarity. But I at least expect Orange to choose the Shadow Demon, because that has been their support that has really been making them their money in these tournaments, as the support handled by Net on that Shadow Demon has just been out of his mind recently. He has just been playing the Shadow Demon at a very high level. But it wouldn't be too surprising to see if Orange decided to pick up a carry here as well. But again, the most logical choices in my opinion would be the Darkseer as well as the Shadow Demon. Unless they want to put Magnus in the off lane and put Darkseer, or skip Darkseer for a while, they're going to pick up Sven as well as Alina. So they're saying, screw Shadow Demon, screw you, B-Ballin. We're not going to go anything like predicted, we're going to choose Sven. And this is sort of one of the heroes I've been waiting for to make a little bit of a comeback in the Western scene. He's not been seen as much in the Western scene. He's still picked a relatively decent amount in the Southeast Asian scene, and mostly in combination with Magnus, his Cleave just does so much damage, and it just really clears off Phantom Lancer illusions very, very easily. Even if he doesn't have God Strength on, even if he has something like a Crystallis, those illusions won't really have enough time to reach a critical mass. So Spend is definitely one of the better mid-game counters to Phantom Lancer. And, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Mith.Trust decide to do to stop this. Are they going to choose something like a Shadow Demon themselves to keep Spend out of the picture, to purge him through the BKB? They have a long-range initiation, or long-range sort of spellcasting barrage in the form of Illuminate and Spirit Lance, so they could be able to cancel the Magnus Blink. They could also pick the Darkseer, but if they go for Darkseer right here, of course it would protect their Phantom Lancer a bit. Again, the wall replicating Phantom Lancer illusions against you is definitely not something you have in mind when you pick up a Phantom Lancer. But if they pick up Darkseer right here, then they might be a bit sort of oversaturated for mid-game and not really have the early game teamfight potential that something like Alina and Spend can provide you as soon as they hit level 6, especially the Magnus Phantom Lancer. He has been winning a lot. He's definitely a very, very annoying hero to deal against, but he also has been losing quite a bit as well, because teams, they just hate him so much that they're trying to find every single option to sort of counter him. Some of the counters have been Gyrocopter, Shadow Demon, Darkseer to get the illusions on your own side, Gyrocopter, of course, just to cleave through those illusions with his flat hand. Sven, of course, with the Magnus and Power on his side, could cleave through them as well. And Mith.Trust instead going to pick the Enigma. Not too sure how I feel about this. Again, they're going to get a bit of teamfight on their own side, but I think if they wanted some teamfight, I think Darkseer would have been a better option. Because as it is, Enigma only can be useful every 180 seconds or so for his Black Hole teamfight. And I don't imagine a Phantom Lancer lineup will be able to push too hard in the early stages of the game. But expect the safe lane to consist of these three heroes. So if Magnus is on the off lane, if he doesn't get too much experience early on, which he should be able to get a decent amount if Enigma is in the jungle, then the tower could be in danger of being pushed. But again, Magnus with that ridiculously low cooldown on the chocolate could make it the lives of those Eidolons very, very difficult. Orange going to be out the puck, and Mith.Trust going to respond with the Shadow Demon, so Shadow Demon not being picked up in the first phase, very surprising for me at least. But to see him being banned, not too surprising, as right now Orange with their lacking, assuming that this is a carry Sven, which it most likely will be, because it was picked up right after the Phantom Lancer. If you're picking up a sports Sven, then usually you'd pick up in the second phase because you have other supports in mind, but I am guessing that this is going to be a carry Sven now by Ketchigimba. That's why they picked it up so early, and that's why Mith.Trust could not ban it out of the pool. So this should be a carry Sven, so this is going to be two components of the safe lane with an off lane Magnus, most likely, unless they get a mid-soul hero. But you can actually see Orange banning out all the mid-soul heroes, so this could perhaps be a protection for the Magnus mid-soul, because they're getting rid of a lot of the heroes that give Magnus a difficult time. Puck and Queen of Pain definitely make it very difficult for Magnus to stay in the lane. Sand King, not so much. And really surprising to see Sand King being banned right now, because by the time Sand King gets going as support, I mean, he gets going very early on the early game where he can get too many impales, and the mid game where he gets those ultimates off. But it's as support, his ultimate won't be going off until the late season game, so a bit surprising to see his Sand King being banned out, but it could be a trademark support of Mith.Trust, I'm not too sure. And meanwhile, Mith.Trust going to ban out the Darkseer, interesting. So I guess they're starting to realize that, okay, we might have a bit too much mid-game to late-game potential on their side. We need something to bridge the gap for their early game, because if Keeper Light dies, or if Keeper Light does not get too much experience, then there's really nothing that can stop Orange from just pushing in, taking down towers, winning team fights, because right now Orange definitely has not only the shorter cooldown in their ultimates, their high-impact spells, but also a lot more burst damage on their side. Enigma doesn't really provide too much burst damage. Phantom Lancer, a little bit bursty for a carry, but still not the most impressive burst damage on his side either. So we'll see what Orange decides to pick up. If they're going to choose something like a jungle hero, they're going to pick up Shadow Fiend for Ohio. So it's going to be, I guess it's not going to be, these bans are not protecting the Magnus, but more of a Shadow Fiend protection ban. Usually Shadow Fiend these days in the Southeast Asian scene run more as a safe lane carry, but in this case, where they've already banned out a lot of mid-solo heroes, I expect Shadow Fiend to be handled by Ohio in the mid lane. And Ohio, if you've not seen any of his games at MEFC, his Shadow Fiend is very, very scary. And this, again, amplifies the fact that Orange's mid-game lineup is just so strong. Once they get the power going on Sen, you can cleave down creeps very quickly. Shadow Fiend always can clear down creeps super easily. And meanwhile, Lena can always provide the backup support with the Laguna Blade easily bursting down somebody So Mith.Trust, I think they might have to focus on getting a bit more early game heroes to bridge the gap. Something like a Windrunner could give them a powerful offlane hero. They're going to choose Beastmaster, so Beastmaster could go in the offlane, could go in the mid lane as well. Beastmaster versus Xiaofeng actually isn't the worst matchup in the world for Beastmaster, but once Xiaofeng picks up the races, it's just not really, or picks up the souls, it's not really the best matchup for Beastmaster. But keep in mind, Beastmaster does have the inner beast to give him a bit of more pushing capability, to give him a bit more access into the ring controls, and considering Enigma at this point most likely will be jungling. Of course, he can go in the offlane position, but at this point, he probably will be jungling. He could just use Ions to circle around and deny runes.
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Meanwhile, Orange waiting long and hard on their last pick. They need one more support or a jungler. Something like a Chen could be very, very powerful. Give them some early tower gold, give them some healing, and just really cement their mid-game teamfight, as right now their mid-game teamfight is very, very scary. Again, Magnus won't really have the best opportunity to set up a really strong reverse, but you have Sven, which Stormhammer is very, very strong in its own right. Lina and Xiaofeng provide so much damage, magical and physical, by the Xiaofeng, that it's just a lot of factors that Mith.Trust will have to keep in mind when they go to try and engage in these early to mid-game teamfights. And keep in mind, before Fanlancer can really start split pushing, he really needs like a level 8, level 9, and a 3k item, which is that Diffusal Blade most likely, unless they go for Radiance. Southeast Asians do like to favor Radiance a bit more heavily than other scenes, but still, if they want to get Diffusal Blade, they will most likely get it. But yeah, if Radiance is an option to get the split push going, that could very well be a good choice against Magnus with the dagger. But Vengeful Sphere is getting the last choice for Orange. So that's an anti-swap mechanism right there, or an anti-black hole mechanism, as Mith.Trust gonna pick up Jakiro, getting a bit more AoE and teamfight on their side, but as it is, I'm a bit skeptical of Mith.Trust's damage output until Fanlancer gets ridiculous amounts of farm. And Fanlancer, one of those heroes who can get the farm, should get the farm. And he probably won't be contested by an aggressive Trillion, most likely. But again, in order to really start the split pushing powerhouse he can truly become, he needs level 8 and a Diffusal Blade in order to sort of solo push down tower. I mean, you can start putting a lot of damage even without a Diffusal Blade, but really can't, you know, push a tower while teamfight's going on until you get something like a Diffusal Blade or even a Radiance just to clear out the creep waves a lot faster. But I think Diffusal Blade will be a very, very high priority in this game. The mana burn against heroes like Sven through the BKB. Well, keep in mind, mana burn doesn't go through BKB, but while the BKB is down, mana burn just shuts down Sven so hard. So I think Diffusal Blade should be the rush item for Fanlancer in this game. But we'll take this time to introduce the players and teams. We're going to have Extinct playing the Lina. Net is going to be playing the Adventure Sphere. Ketchik Imba is going to be... No, KYXI is playing the Magnus on the offlane. Ketchik Imba is playing the Xiaofeng, and Ohio is playing the Sven. So interesting. Usually I'd expect Ohio to play the mid-solo role, but Ketchik Imba is instead going to play the Xiaofeng on the mid-lane position. Usually Ketchik Imba plays the hard carry, and Ohio plays the mid-solo. But I guess they're going to swap roles for now. They could swap back, but at this point, probably a bit too late. Meanwhile, on the side of Mith.Trust, we're going to have TNK playing the Enigma, R5 playing the Jakiro, Abba is playing the Beastmaster, SD is playing the Keeper of the Light, and Lakels is going to be handling that Phantom Lancer. And as it is a smoke gank being concocted very early on, nice jukes for now, will help save the life of the Keeper of the Light, but nicely done. Picking up the Doppelwalk at level 1 means Lakels will have his life saved for now. But this could also mean that, since they saw the Doppelwalk at 1, it could be that Orange could try to run an aggressive Trillion, and actually Ohio is saving up some gold. Could we be seeing a bottle Sven mid lane, dual lane mid by the Sven? And yeah, that is going to be the case, because we're going to see Xiaofeng not start with the early game bottle gold, instead going to go for the Ring of Aquila and try to get the push going. But it is going to be a dual lane mid, most likely, of Sven and Venge. And probably have Lina do some creep pulls, because Venge, I think, pairs a bit better with Sven. Although, no, Lina, I guess, has a bit more burst down to her side. So it is going to be Sven and Lina. And keep in mind, Light Strike Array, with the help of the Stormhammer, very, very easy to land. So far, dual lane's being run by Orange to shut down the Beastmaster and also to ensure that Xiaofeng does not get smoke ganked by any sort of smoke gank shenanigans. And it is, in fact, going to be an offlane Enigma. I think a hero like Windrunner could have been potentially a more viable choice, but I think they were predicting a Trillion safe bottom, so that's why they put the Enigma on the off lane and got their second support. But in this situation, these supports on the side of Mith.Trust are not going to get too much experience. And you can see this ward being placed by Orange, not the most conventional ward spot. So this small camp will not be able to be pulled. This camp will still be able to be pulled. But as it is, more experience will be going in the way of Magnetar. And again, Magnetar, I mean, he won't be in too much danger. Well, he'll be in a bit more danger if he was faced against a jungler. But as it is, he should be okay, has 1 point of skill already, and he knows that Keeper Light will start the creep pulls. And as it is at level 1, since Fanwitz got double walk, he wouldn't be in too much trouble. So KOXI should be able to pick up fast level 2, and once he gets the shockwave rolling, if he doesn't get too much experience, if the supports on his side of the map start stacking some camps, Shockwave will be able to clear out those camps very, very easily and very, very quickly. Meanwhile, we see Ohio with that bottle rush picking up that bottle. Lena just keeping Beastmaster as far away from the lane as possible. Beastmaster just now picked up his bottle and not going to do some ancient stacks, just going to try to keep in sort of his lane and try to get as much experience as possible. But as it is, this Beastmaster and this Enigma won't have too good of a time, I imagine, because Shadow Fiend. One of the good things about Shadow Fiend is that once he gets some souls and raises going, he can push down creep waves so quickly that Enigma can't really defend it by himself. But it's not yet at that point. Shadow Fiend, I'm sure, wants to stack farm a bit longer. Let Venge soak up as much experience as possible. Vengeful Spirit, one of those heroes who really wants experience, but if you get her experience, she can be very, very devastating. Get that increased range on the swap, get a lot of points in the Vengeance Aura, get a lot of points into that Howl of Terror. Just makes taking Roshan so easy, and taking these team fights with a large range swap against Enigma will be very, very essential. And meanwhile, we're going to see Magnus take a bit more damage now that Phantom Lancer does have a point to Spare Lance. He can afford to play a bit more aggressive, but you can see Lakill's not bothering to use the Spare Lance. Knows that he won't pick up the kill at that point, as Jakiro just baiting out the Ice Path, scaring away KYXY, but KYXY should be okay. And actually, he's going to see Keeper Light rotate around. So I guess they feel at this point Jakiro and Phantom Lancer should be able to pick up the kill on Magnetar. And I think they will once again. 1 more point to Spare Lance and 1 more point into Dual Breath. Magnetar will be in a lot more danger. So they're just going to try to help out the Beastmaster as much as possible, refuel his mana, and keep out the Illuminate spam. Because as it is, Ohio maximizing all the refarm he can possibly get. 23 CS at 3.5 minutes in the game. Ridiculous farming presence already.
Get back.
But the Illuminate gonna fly in, gonna miss it just barely on Ohio. And meanwhile, KOXI gonna take an Ice Path and no mana for the Skewer, so this might enable a dive. Dual Breath is gonna come in. KYXY. A little bit of improper mana management, as he was just caught in a very, very difficult position, and he paid up the price, and he gave up the first blood to the Jakiro. So Jakiro will be able to get some wards, get the boots, may get some roaming, and will allow Phantom Lancer to get a little bit more free farm, a little bit more stack farm. But now Magnus will be able to teleport back in the lane with level 3, so he'll have 2 points in Shockwave, and considering that the mana pools on everybody on the diary is so low, that means he can pretty much farm at relative ease. So even though he did give up the first blood, it's not the worst thing in the world. If he gave first blood to the Phantom Lancer, it'd be much more of a difficult situation, but as it is, he has full HP, full mana, and the side of Mith.Trust has no mana whatsoever, so that's why Magnus is playing so much more aggressive. As we're going to see the Crow deliver some valuable components to the Beastmaster, just going to bottle Crow, get them some boots as well, and you can see Enigma just abandoning that bottom lane altogether. Denied a bit of experience to Shadow Fiend, but at this point, if you deny too many creeps, Shadow Fiend will just start getting his raises and clear out those add-ons very easily. And also, he can start the push, so it's just a lot more safe for Enigma to just jungle it up. And also, Lena, if she had a smoke, she could just easily try to roam around and try to catch off the Enigma in a very, very terrible position. And now that KOXI has the bottle, he's just going to devote a courier just to keep up the bottle spam. Won't have a single courier all to himself, as he's just going to send the bottle mid, so doesn't have to spend that extra 400 gold to get a second courier on his side. Just going to use some basic courier courtesy right here. But as it is, KOXR will always have full HP, full mana, but now, no, Spirit Lance will be back online, so that might have been the opportunity because the Ice Path should be online as well. They're not going to use it. Actually, they are going to use it, but the Ice Path does whiff. Might have been a bit of miscommunication right there. Also might have been a bit of lag because that Ice Path completely whiffed. An Ice Path against a Magnetar who's already skewered. Not really the most difficult spell to land in my opinion. So that could have been lag, that could have been miscommunication, but as is, no mana on the Jakiro for quite a bit. He's going to have to ferry himself some clarities. Or at least maybe a Sage's Mask, so he can get his mana spam, because as is that, the fact that Jakiro has no mana means that Magnus can pretty much stay in the lane at will, and he will be able to hit level 6 very, very quickly. So again, despite giving up first blood, Magnus not having the worst of times on this top lane. Meanwhile, Phantom Hearts picked up the Tranquil Boots, saving up a lot of gold. Might go for the Diffusal Blade. I think Diffusal Blade, even though the split push would be pretty strong at this stage, I think Diffusal Blade and hero like Sven at this point would just be very, very crucial. Because Sven, again, one of those heroes who, even though he might have a bottle, just needs all the points of mana he can possibly get. And also purging him before he gets his BKB going to be very instrumental for Mith.Trust's chances at surviving these early game engagements. But as it is 0-1, just not too much action going on. And we're just going to see Enigma continue to farm it up in the jungle with his Eidolon's going to get the boots of speed. And he's going to be very, very delayed on his mechanism because he did try to farm that bottom lane for a bit. But I guess since no pressure is being applied just yet, he has a bit of time to go before he really needs that mechanism. Meanwhile, Ohio just going to storm here with some creeps. Interesting maneuver. Going to allow Lina to pick up a bit of experience. Where their camps being stacked, he's actually going to rotate around. I guess Orange feels like, okay, Sven's level 6, let's get Lina level 6 so we can try to get the ganks going ASAP because Sven is just going to ban lane altogether. Interesting maneuver by Orange, as this is sort of reminiscent of some Chinese teams. Some Chinese teams like to get the level 6 up on their supports ASAP, and that is going to be a smoke gank being concocted by Net and Ohio, trying to roam in for the Beastmaster, as there is an offensive observer ward trying to spot the movement of the Beastmaster, seeing if he's going to be greedy and try to get the rune. But as it is, Beastmaster and Enigma will be safe from the skank party. But Ketchikimba does not mind, turns on the Ring of Basilius, has level 8, can start the push going. If there's any teleport support in the form of Keep for the Light, these supports will definitely pick up the kill. And as it is, Keep for the Light is going to be caught out. Never stood a chance. He is going to die very, very easily. That ward spotting it out all the while.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
And a tower being picked up by Orange as well. So that means nobody can really defend this tower. Enigma really just not the best tower defender. And with Keeper of the Light being dead, it's going to be a while before he can start the rotation in. This tower might drop down to 3rd HP before Keeper of the Light can start channeling Illuminate. And actually this tower will end up falling as Net has 2 points of Vengeance Aura. Look at how hard Shadow Fiend hits at this point in the game. This tower will end up dying. That is crazy. And Shadow Fiend does pick up the last hit. So that is going to give Orange so much gold. Keep in mind, I think Enigma or Magnus should have a higher net worth than the Enigma at this point. No, Enigma has a slightly higher net worth. I guess Magnus giving up that first blood did not help him. But Magnus should be, yeah, he is almost level 7. Almost has that max level Shockwave. 9 minutes in the game. Keep in mind he's against a dual lane who ran out of mana very quickly, which is why he was able to pick up so much farm. But this is not what you want to have happen against a Magnus off lane when you have 2 supports on your side. And this is why I don't think Enigma is really just not a good hero these days, as he's really relied on one role, which is the Black Hole, but Black Hole is such a long cooldown, and his tower pushing, you know, he more often than not just jungles it up for a large majority of the game. That Enigma, I think he's seen sort of his time in the limelight fading out just a little bit. And Lakel's picks up the drums. It gives them a bit more mid-game presence, but you know me as a carry player, or when I play carry, I just want to be as greedy as possible. And keep in mind, drums won't really help the illusions, this gives them a bit more HP, a bit more damage, but Diffusal Blade being picked up, I mean at this point you could have already had a finished Diffusal. And Diffusal being picked up, I guess since Enigma needs a jungle, Balancer doesn't really have that much desire to jungle it up. But again, very greedy lineup as Net is going to get roared in mid lane. Ice Path is going to fly in. Dual Breath will fly in as well. Illuminate hits on just the tip as there is going to be a very easy kill. Nicely concocted by Mith.Trust, as they need to get themselves back in game. It is 2-1 in favor of Mith.Trust in terms of the kill count, but 2 towers being picked up very, very easily, and the fact that Magnus is receiving so much experience leads me to believe that Orange has a slight advantage, considering that Orange has a massive mid-game team fight. And again, with the items that Fanlance is going for, this is more of a chasing team fight oriented build rather than sort of a split pushing build. Keep in mind, Diffusal Blade gives illusions a lot of agility, which increases their attack speed, increases their armor, and just increases their ability to proc up their illusions because of that increased attack speed. So Diffusal Blade, if you want to get the split push going, would have been a lot better, but I guess since Magnetar has no inclinations of leading his lane, the illusions would not be able to stand up against a repeated shockwave spam. And we are going to see a smoke attempt. That Die Ward not going to spot out Ohio and the Venge, but there is going to be an RP into a swap on Lakel's. Lakel's never stood a chance, but here comes the Black Hole and the Illuminate. Looks like KOXI is going to end up dying right here. No, Pops Magic Stick will end up escaping. No, Malphus does tick in, but it's going to be a 2-4 engagement. Black Hole is going to be down. Illuminate's going to fly in, but Ohio does not care. Dual Breath going to fly in as well. Ohio just has that Storm Hammer right up for the cooldown, but he is going to have to back off. Was being fogged. And as it is, Orange took that team fight 2-1, and one huge cooldown spell was already used. And that means Black Hole will not be online for the next 170 seconds. And keep in mind, Ohio did not die and catch again, but already has his Shadow Blade very, very early on. Checking out the last hits, almost 100 last hits for Catch Again at this stage in the game. Ridiculous farm. So Axe is going to fly in by Abba. He's going to go for the mechanism. So Enigma, I guess, going to rush the BKB. I think Blink would just be a better option, because there's a lot of opportunities to go through that BKB. There's Swap by Venge, there's Reverse by Magnus. I think getting the Blink Dagger, not only will it help you in terms of your BKB or your Black Hole positioning to catch out here like Venge, but also just for some small scale engagements, getting the Blink and Malphus initiation would be very, very crucial. But I guess Enigma feels a bit too squishy at this point. And considering he's with the Phantom Lancer and a Keep of the Light, not really the most aggressive ganking partners on his side. So I guess that could be a reasoning why he's not going for a straight up Blink Rush. And we're going to see a smoke wraparound trying to catch off Ketchik Imba, but no word spotting out the movement of the Shalfeen. They actually have no idea where the Shalfeen is, and that's why this ganking train will be doomed to fail for a bit unless they go all the way to the jungle. But Shadowblade is up. Do they have detection? They have dust up on the Beastmaster, nicely purchased, and they might very well catch out the Shalfeen. Oh no, that is so unfortunate. Dust is going to be popped, but Shalfeen easily able to windwalk away because it is daytime. He was able to get a bit more vision, and Beastmaster, I think his roar was fogged in just the wrong instant. So very unfortunate for Mith.Trust. But that is going to be 4 people devoted for a smite gank. That is not going to work out. Or 3 people, as meanwhile, the 4th person of that party, Keeper of the Light, is going to die. And this tower is going to be in great danger of being pushed. The assassin is not really in position to keep up the axis spams. An interesting skill build by Venge. Usually some Venges, in the old days, some Chinese Venges did 1 point of stun, max out the aura and the terror. There's sometimes the more aggressive Venges if they want to play a bit more of a static, or some more of passive Venges if they want to play a bit more of a static farming game. Don't really max out the Vengeance aura. But considering this is a pushing Venge, she's going to max out the aura by level 8. Get 2 points of magic missile, probably going to max out next and just be very, very difficult to stop. As she already has the urn. Keep in mind, Vengeful Spirit stun does do a lot of damage, 325 damage. Very, very hefty amount of damage, especially by an agility hero. As, oh no, R5 was in grave danger of being swapped, but barely able to juke out of the way. Malphus is going to drop to extinct. Here comes the Ice Path. Eidolon's doing so much damage. Just going to catch a dual breath and going to try rotating around for Net. Net is going to be caught out, and Net is going to die, as also Orange curling a bit, but meanwhile Ohio, or Ketchigimba, saying, I don't need anti-mage to split push, I'm just going to pick up Shadow Fiend and split push very, very similarly. But Shadow Fiend can definitely get a split push going a lot earlier than the anti-mage, especially with his Shadow Blade, a lot of easy escape mechanisms, and just does a lot more physical DPS compared to an anti-mage at this stage in the game. And he picks up the ultimate. We're going to go for the Manta style as Ketchik just says, I don't want to play Dota, I just want to play Farming Simulator 2013. And I just hit creeps. Why hit heroes when I can hit creeps 0, 0, and 0? But already 130 CS. Pretty ridiculous at this stage in the game. Meanwhile, his counterpart farmer, Phantom Lancer, still far away from the defusal. Again, drums not really being used for anything. So, it gives him some HP, but eventually in the later game, Phantom Lancer will sell the drums as well as the Tranquil Boots. So I think you're just delaying your Diffusal Blade, especially if you're not using drums to play a bit more aggressive, but maybe he thought that Orange would try to take more team fights, but Orange is very content to play the farming game, as Magnus has that point in power, and here comes the screw in reverse onto Ella kills, and that means his Diffusal Blade will be delayed even longer, and that means his tower will end up dying. Look at the damage, level 1 in power, with that no Vengeance Sword just yet in the picture, as Lena does pick up the kill and keep the light, and meanwhile Dual Breath is going to fly and Vengeance Spirit will end up dying, but Sven does not care about no puny macro power. Is going to clean up the Beastmaster. Jakiro trying to run away, will run away as Ice Path was cooling down, will catch out Ohio on just the edge. They will kill off Ohio, but it's going to be a 3-for-2 exchange, and I think Ohio did pick up both of those kills. No, he did not. But all the while, Shadow Fiend. This is the power of Shadow Fiend, as he just does so much more damage in the early game to towers compared to somebody like an anti-mage. As his right clicks really hurt. Keep in mind, Vengeance Sword is not even the picture. It's just the Empower with the souls. And the Shadow Blade. As once Empower starts hitting a higher and higher level, in conjunction with the Vengeance Sword, Shadow Fiend should be hitting for easily around 350, 400 damage when she picks up another very strong item. And that's that stage in the game with the minus aura, or minus armor aura. Mith.Trust can't really duke it out versus him 1v1 or even 2v1. They're going to have to try to devote a lot of resources just to killing off that Shadow Fiend. Meanwhile, Phantom Lancer keeping up decently well with the Shadow Fiend. Keep in mind, Shadow Fiend had an open lane all to himself. Phantom Lancer on the other hand, not really as lucky. Phantom Lancer couldn't really farm the jungle. Enigma was farming the jungle. As Sven picks up the dagger, going to give them more opportunities to initiate, as the Quill Beast will be used to de-ward it up, but the magic is still just going to clear it up, as it hit nighttime at the worst opportunity for that Quill Beast, so he could not actually pick off that ward. Very unfortunate. Meanwhile, TNK getting close to that BKB, but again, how much will BKB matter? The question is, how far away is Mag from his Blink Dagger? Because keep in mind, Enigma channels his ultimate in front of him, so if Mag just blinks behind the Enigma, casts his RP, Enigma will have his Black Hole cancelled, and there's also a swap in the way as well. And of course, Shadow Fiend right clicks will be able to kill the Enigma very easily, so again, BKB, not too sure if that's the best idea in this game, as I think it just might have been they picked up so many ways to counter the Enigma. Keep in mind, Enigma was picked up in the first phase, if I'm not mistaken, and Shadow Fiend and Avenge were picked up in the second phase. As Sven's gonna blink in, getting a 3-man Stormman with the reverse polarity to follow up on 2 people. Black Hole is trying to be channeled, but can't even have the opportunity. 3 people being cleaned up, as I'm not too sure why Phantom Lancer is trying to fight the team fight, but as his Keeper is gonna die, and that is gonna be a full-on team wipe. Easily steamrolled in favor of Orange, as meanwhile Shadow Fiend just gonna push, because why the heck not? Gonna force the buyback by Jakiro, but as is, Orange looking in a commanding position. Gold graph will spike around 10 to 12k. Experience graph should spike similarly. And meanwhile, Ketchik with the help of the Magnetar Empower. Magnetar level 2 Empower, so now Shadow Fiend hits even harder. And this tier 2 will end up falling, and the question is, where will the gold come from Mith.Trust? And again, this is probably Enigma, because he needs a jungle in order to really do stuff. But that means you're getting a lot less jungle space for people like Phantom Lancer, who needs all the farm, and at this point, Phantom Lancer can't really go out to farm by himself because there is a Blink Dagger Sven. He can just blink in from the shadows, get the stun off if he has a dust. He should be okay, but at the very least Phantom Lancer does have the defusal, so he might be able to get a bit more split pushing down on his side. Level 11 as well, almost max level juxtapose, so he will hopefully get some clones being summoned, but as it is, unlucky on that account, and will run into a Sentry Ward? No. Just gonna back off in the nick of time. Checking out the net worth, Shadow Fiend almost 5k net worth ahead of the Phantom Lancer at this stage in the game. Very, very scary play by Ohio, or by Ketchikimba at this point, as he says, oh, he has assist. I'm proud of you, bro. You finally decided to play some Dota. No, he's playing to win the game. This is a very, very solid strategy by Orange, because honestly, how can you defend your towers at this point? Because even if Keeper let blast out and creep waves, Xiaofeng will just right click down your tower faster than Xiao can deal damage. But meanwhile, Magnus is going to try to protect this bottom lane. Fanlighter is in position. KYX, so I might have to blink out on out of there, as he does do so successfully. Sven, meanwhile, does pick up the Keeper of the Light. There's going to be teleport immediately being cancelled by the Ice Path, but there is going to be initiation on bot. Repeated reverse polarity cancels as Ohio is being held in place. Black Hole is online, but is Mith.Trust actually going to try to take this team fight? I think this is the right decision, just to back off on out of there. But Enigma just uses time to teleport on there. There is a gem in place, so Fanlighter will be caught out even more easily, and Enigma is going to be caught out as well. Mith.Trust just crumbling as Jakiro and Fanlighter. Not too sure what you guys are staying around for, but you're going to get zapped.
Not enough for you.
So Mith.Trust once again being handled by Orange. Orange clearly had some sort of vendetta after being sent to the losers bracket. Man, I really wish I had that game now to see how exactly Orange was sent to the losers bracket, because they are just playing so well this tournament. And keep in mind, this is a relatively early tournament. This was before the Ghosts Cup 5 GST Challenge. A lot of the other Southeast Asian tournaments that have been going on, but Orange is looking very dominant in this tournament thus far, so man, I really wish I had that game where Orange actually lost. But meanwhile, Orange should have something like a 20k gold lead. Is going to be very, very close. At 20 minutes in, this is being close to insurmountable. Even with the Black Hole being challenged for the full duration, Sven with an almost AC, Xiaofeng with an Aegis as well as a Helmet Dominator. Let's check out GPMs really quick. 620 GPM at Xiaofeng at 23 minutes in game. Very ridiculous, considering no massive creep waves are being formed just yet. But he has last hit several towers, gotten a lot of farm. Checking out his last hits, 200 last hits. Usually in the old days, or even these days, as in a complete utter free farm situation where you're on your own, I think 170 by 20 minutes, maybe 200 by 22 minutes is the ideal score. But in the old days, in the Chinese scene, it's 200 by 28 minutes. And you can see the Xiaofeng very easily surpassed that. As split push is coming in by Orange. This seems to be their game plan for this turn. Just split push it up with Ketchikimba and just fight as 5. Extinct has a dagger. Net has a 4-staff as well as a gem. Also, more importantly, has that level 2 swap, so now she can stay even further back. So if Enigma blinks in black holes, more range for Vengeful Sphere to stay back and get the swap going. And also, Terror into swap is a very viable avenue for initiation, because that 900 range swap, very, very long, very, very deceptive. But Orange is going to stay very, very calm, composed. Knows there's not too much to fear. Phantom Lancer, only Diffusal and drums. Again, misliking this drum choice quite a bit. You can't teamfight against Orange. As here comes a Blinking Storm Hammer onto Enigma. Enigma is going to get pulled backwards. No chance of sharing the Black Hole. Macropie being cast on Ohio. Ohio does manage to get cleaned up. Xiaofeng Thanos directly on absolutely nothing. But Bot is going to be cleaned up. Jakiro going to get one-man RP'd just because. And Fanlighter can't even approach because there's a gem up on Venge. As he's trying to drain all the Vengeful Spirit swap mana, or all the Vengeful Spirit stun mana. Enigma does buy back. Black Hole is still online. Keeper of the Light does channel Illuminate, so this Rax will be defend for now. But still, Orange is just going to take this time to regroup. Only hero they lost was Sven, in exchange for 3 and a buyback. So I expect the goal graph. I think the goal graph actually starts breaking off at 35k, so I want to see if Orange actually makes that happen. As it's just very, very grim for Mith.Trust at this point. Man, I really, really, really wish I had the replay where Mith.Trust sent Orange to the losers bracket. But this is sort of standard Mith.Trust. They have Lakel's farm off, so I guess Orange concocted a new game plan to exploit that. So pushing early game team fights seems to be the way to go against Mith.Trust, and Orange definitely making that work out in this game. As there's some options. You need to get a 4-man black hole, or you need to get Aurora off onto the bench, pick up bench, and hopefully disable the Mag Blink Dagger so you can get the black hole going. Because even if Magnus skewers in, he will just get silenced by the black hole, I do believe. So Avenge is going to be the target to focus down, and you gotta wait out the Aegis. If Shadow Fiend responds with all the big AoE spells or the big ultimate spells like Beastmaster Aurora, Enigma Black Hole on cooldown, Shadow Fiend will just be able to tear through everybody. But the primary target to focus in this game is, oddly enough, Venge. But Venge has not been putting herself into difficult situations, and keep in mind, Enigma not really giving an opportunity to even focus on the Venge. Venge is swapping out the Enigma with the Terror. Keep in mind the cast range or the vision given by Terror is something like 1200. It's very ridiculous how long the range on Terror is. Meanwhile, Sven working his way towards the AC. Is that the finished AC? It is going to be very close to the finished AC, as all he needs is a chainmail. And he's just going to buy that up at the secret shop. Meanwhile, Lakel is going to go for a VIP booster. Going to give a bit more team fight sustainability, and also giving him some way to spend his gold on. I think Yasha, at this point, it doesn't matter how tanky Fanwitzer gets. Well, actually it does. If Venture Spirit dies, and if they can kill the gem, Fanwitzer does have an opportunity to wreak a lot of havoc. There's still options for Mith.Trust, it's just not looking good, as Ketchik Imba just gonna push in Vengeance Sword, not even on him, just Empower, as he's gonna get Illuminate. He might end up losing his Aegis right here. He will end up losing his Aegis, but okay, that's an Aegis. But at the very least, Mith.Trust, no, they didn't have Glyph up. And Net trying to get in position for a swap. Ketchik Imba just going to charge forward confidently. Going to try to focus down the racks. He is going to be in an awkward position. Ice Path is going to fly. And where is Magnus? Enigma gets bursted down. No buyback. Magnus with a 3-man RP with Ohio backing him up. And this is going to be Massacre Part 5, The Massacring. Brought to you by Orange. And Orange going to win Season 2 of the Litany League. So, in a very convincing fashion, as honestly in this tournament, I can't really say if they made too many mistakes. It's just very difficult to say that they made too many mistakes. But yeah, so that is going to be Season 2 of the Litany League. Shoutouts to the organizers. Shoutouts to you, or Heavy Arms Storage Facility, for helping to sponsor this tournament. All the tournaments in Southeast Asia, the better. As well played both teams. It was very well played by Orange. Mith.Trust, I think they played well. They just picked a very greedy lineup. And I think Fanwitzer, the drums, honestly I don't think if Fanwitzer rushed a defusal instead of getting drums, if that made too much of a difference. But just the lineup picked by Mith.Trust was completely countered by Orange. But yeah, that is going to be the end of this game. As is going to be blinking by Magnus, no RP up. Only one person on the side of Mith.Trust disconnected. Die, bye. As I'm sure most of them are friends here. And at least Mith.Trust, unlike other teams, aren't actively defending after they call GG. They're just singing their fountains. So, yeah. But I want to check out the ending GPM. Even when Shadow Fiend's dead, his GPM's rising. It's going to be around 800 when all is said and done. But yeah, that's going to end of this game, and that's going to end of the Litany League Season 2. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed this tournament. It was pretty cool. Hopefully we can get some more replays coming in from Season 3. But again, Season 3 will be brought to you by Dota Talk and the casters there. But yeah, thanks for watching everybody, and I will see you next time. See ya.